So, Joe, last one here. We're talking about teams that and the path that they would be on for a national title run. The last one we end up here with is Indiana. How do you see that one playing out? And let me ask you this question. Does Indiana have the toughest path imaginable to get to a national title run?
They do. They have a really difficult path. And I feel like the case for all, 7 other teams that we've discussed, there's a world where they could win a national title. I'm sorry to do this, Indiana fans. I don't think it's likely that you're going to be one of these teams that pulls it out. But there's a capability for them to surprise teams. The fact that you're facing off with Notre Dame in your state, and there's a possibility that you could show up with a good crowd. It's not like you're seeing weather that you're not used to, like these teams from Texas are dealing with. If you are able to take advantage of Riley Leonard and create situations for him on 3rd and long, like we talked about, force a turnover, slow down their rushing attack, which you did an effective job of when you were faced off against Ohio State until a little bit later on in the game. If your run defense plays as well as it's been advertised, that's how you beat Notre Dame. For them to try and knock off Georgia is where we start to get really sketchy here. I got to be honest, I don't really know if I can make the case for them to play well enough against that Georgia defensive line, Blake. I might have to stop it short there because I do not see a world where them and Penn State that they're going to be able to slow down those D lines, because both, especially Georgia, are extremely overwhelming. And we saw the issues that Indiana's offensive line had when they faced off with Ohio State. I think the last bit with that, the way that we know that they could go on a run is if their offensive line has an amazing game against Notre Dame and they look completely different. But that's asking for a lot. That is asking for a miracle in a way.
Well, here's the thing. What do we know about Michigan at the current moment? Michigan wasn't a great football team, but what we did know was they figured something out at the end of the season. What was it? You know what, man? Screw it. If we get beaten doing it, we're going to stay with our philosophy. We're going to be physical. We're going to be physical at the line of scrimmage, and we're going to run the football. So get over it. It's what we're doing. This is who we are this season, right? They physically dominated in moments and times against Indiana. They did. When Indiana played Ohio State, they got out physicaled. Now, what's interesting is I thought that their whole game plan was completely dookie. Like, it was bad. Why are you running the football that effectively on Ohio State and you're getting away from it? Like, Joe, you tell me. They go down the field and they scored. They ran the ball all over the place. They started thinking that Curtis Rourke can go down there and start throwing the ball around. Like, what are we doing? I don't know. Maybe they can run the ball on a team like Notre Dame. Maybe they can't. I've seen it happen against Ohio State. We'll see. I just think that they're going to get so manhandled here. That's how I feel. If Notre Dame wets their pants like they normally do in the playoff, sorry, but they do. If they wet their pants here, that's a whole different story. You could get past one hurdle. You were right on one thing. Listen, man, you're going in this game against Notre Dame. Make them throw the football. You were able to hold Ohio State very easily in moments to critical third downs, and Will Howard either made the throw. We came in the Sunday after that, like, hey, man, Will just made some elite throws. No, not anything you could do about it. Maybe you do that, but you're right. I'm stopping it at Georgia. If there's any glimmer of hope, you ain't getting past it. You're not ready. I think your coaching staff showed you what they can do. Now they got to go get dudes, Joe. That's what it comes down to. They got some bodies up front, though. C.J. West, I think, is a guy. They got some bodies up front. But, man, they're not ready for this. And I'm just going to tell you this. If Notre Dame goes out there and out-physicals them in the last 3 games that I got to see of Indiana, real true games, I'm not talking about Purdue, is you getting out-physicaled, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind because you know what it should be? It should be Bama, Ole Miss, or South Carolina in that situation in the snow in South Bend.
All right, let's not be here. Let's not use this as an opportunity to grandstand. No. We had plenty of time to yell about this.
Hold on, can I just say one thing? Can you give me yes, no here? I swear I'll end it here.
I don't like it when you ask me these questions.
If Indiana against Michigan, Ohio State, and now Notre Dame get out physical the way that they have been the last 3 games that we've really actually seen them against quality competition, if they get out physical again, we're gonna be talking about this all off season, and you know that. Like, hey man, we had Arizona State, we had Boise State, we had Indiana, we had SMU. 4 of the 12 teams, a third of the teams got absolutely dominated.
I don't think that there is,
As
I said,
a quarter of it.
I still don't think that there is a necessary right answer.
No.
At times with who belonged in the playoff or not. An example of this is the FCS football playoffs. You can roll your eyes at this if you want. One of the best teams in their conference showed up to play against North Dakota State and got their asses kicked in Mercer. Incarnate Word was the best team in their conference, got their asses kicked by South Dakota State. So, yes, of course, the teams that have established consistent success are going to out physical and out dominate their opponents that they recruited better than them for a decade plus. So I don't. That's not going to change my perspective. Indiana, good season. They earned the right to be there. They had 1 loss.
BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number 1 source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.